Welcome back to the Stovetop. Some of the Hawaiian coffees that I've reviewed have not been made entirely with beans sourced from the Hawaiian Islands. I didn't realize this until my friend who lives in Hawaii pointed it out to me. Some coffees that are Hawaiian, I put that in air quotes, are only made with 10% beans sourced from the Hawaiian Islands and 90% beans sourced from other parts of the world. So I thought it might make a good video if I compared a coffee that was made with 10% Hawaiian beans and a coffee that is 100% Hawaiian. So here on the stovetop from Kauai Coffee, I have their medium roast. I picked this up at Kroger. It was actually on sale. Something to note is that in the past month, I've shopped at 3 different Krogers in my area, and only one carries this in a 10-ounce bag. All 3 had it in K-cups, but there was only one where I could buy it like this. So it's a blue bag, and on the front it says Kauai Coffee, medium roast, ground coffee. Underneath that, there's their Hula Girl logo. So it's a Hula Girl coming out of a coffee cup like a genie in a cloud. That's the Kauai Coffee logo. Underneath her it says 10% Hawaiian coffee, sourced from our Kaua'i estate, weight 10 ounces. And then on one side it says Taste Paradise, and it gives you brewing instructions showing how much coffee and how much water to add. And then it says ingredients, Arabica coffee, produced for Kauai Coffee Company on the island of Kauai. On the back it says this unique blend begins at our Kaua'i estate, where our orchard is nourished by rich volcanic soil and showered by fresh mountain rain, kissed by the bright Pacific sun, and cooled by the gentle Hawaiian trade winds. And I think that's a really good description of being on any of the Hawaiian Islands. Come visit our beautiful estate on the southern shore of Kauai. If we go back to Hawaii, I think we will visit this place. It's got their web address, and then underneath it says best if used by January of 2025, and it's March of 2024. So that's a fairly decent shelf life. On the other side, it says Aloha from Kauai. Out of love and respect for our land, we are committed to sustainable farming practices, including drip irrigation, on-site composting, and industry-leading employee benefits. The result is a responsibly crafted coffee with a consistency of flavor and quality that can only be found in paradise. So I've already had this coffee, and I have to say that it's okay, but it's not great. It's not as good as some of the other Hawaiian coffees I've had, whether they were 100% Hawaiian coffee or only 10% Hawaiian coffee. It's on par with Maxwell House or Folgers, but there's nothing special about it. So in order to compare it to a 100% Hawaiian coffee, I placed an order with Kauai Coffee, and they shipped me this. It's a rectangular box that says Kauai Coffee. It's got a silhouette of the islands on it. And on the side, it's got a picture of, it says Kauai Coffee Company on the sign that's hanging underneath an awning on, I'm guessing this is a building at their plantation there. And this actually did come from Hawaii. It took 2 weeks to get here. What's weird is I selected ground shipping, which said 4 to 7 business days. It cost $18. And I don't know how you ship ground over the Pacific Ocean, but I digress. So I already cut the clear packaging tape off camera. There's a flap on the long end of the box here where the UPS label is, and they had tape running down the sides and some on the bottom. They've got a fragile handle with care sticker, and you can see that the box is completely intact. It survived the trip. There's no dents or punctures or anything else like that. So let me go ahead and lift up the flap here, and they've got something wrapped in bubble wrap that's taped to the inside of the flap. So let me get everything out. All right, so what do we got? We've got some coffee that I'll be doing a review video on in the future, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to move that off to the side. We've got some butter chocolate chip macadamia nut cookies that I may or may not review. Let me see if I can pull this bubble wrap. It looks like they just made a sleeve out of it. I've got a Kauai Coffee Hula Girl logo decal. They put a lot of time into packaging this up. It's a little curled up, but I think if I put something heavy on it to flatten it out, it'll take care of everything. Here, the Kauai Coffee logo in a bumper sticker. So it's a rectangular blue sticker with the Hula Girl on one side, and it says Kauai Coffee on the other. And then wrapped up in bubble wrap, and then in a clear plastic wrapper is a Kauai Coffee mug. It's in their blue color. They're kind of like a Pacific blue, sky blue color. It says Kauai Coffee on both sides, and it's kind of a I'm not really sure how to describe it. Not orange, but kind of a, I don't know. It's different color on the inside. And on the bottom here, you can see it's made in the USA. American coffee mug. All on one website, which I'll include a link to in the description section below. So you can see how expensive this stuff is. Because this 10-ounce bag of Kauai Coffee medium roast 100% Hawaiian coffee in whole bean was not cheap. But it's the same kind of layout on the bag. They've got the instructions and their description. The best by date on this is January of 2025. And it's pretty much the same thing. The Hula Girl on the front is a little bit smaller. It says 100% Hawaiian coffee at the top instead of 10% at the bottom. And then it's got all the certification logos here at the bottom. It's a medium roast. So more or less, I'm comparing the 10% ground to the 100% whole bean in this video. All right, so now it's time to open up the bag. Oh, let's see if I can pull it open here without spilling it. I'm careful. There we go. It opens right up at the top. There's no tab or anything to fold over. There's no reclosable seal on it. And you can see down there in the bag, the beans are kind of a medium brown color. I'm going to go ahead and just pour them in the grinder. You can see a few of them are a little bit oily, but no, they're not really that oily of a bean. They ground up pretty good. So I'll be brewing this in my new Mr. Coffee that I bought 2 days ago. And this one has a strong setting, so I will be using that. I'm not going to rinse the filter. And I'll be using some Waiakea Hawaiian volcanic water. I picked up a case of it at Sam's Club yesterday. All right, coffee's all done brewing. So someone might say this is not a fair review or an accurate comparison because with the 10% Hawaiian coffee, I never made a review video on it. You just have to take my word for it on my opinion. So you didn't get my initial impressions being groggy in the morning and taking my first few sips, or my final thoughts after my taste buds had kind of gotten used to the coffee and I was more awake. All I can say is I just didn't really think it was that great of a coffee. Also, I made that coffee with a different Mr. Coffee machine that didn't have a strong setting, and I used the reverse osmosis purified drinking water that we get locally here. We refill bottles of it. So I wasn't using the Waiakea Hawaiian volcanic water in that test. But still, I think this will give an idea about whether or not the 100% coffee is really worth it compared to something you could just pick up at the grocery store. So I've stalled long enough. I'll go ahead and do the smell test. Now, I didn't smell the coffee while it was brewing, either going upstairs to the studio or down here in the kitchen when I came down to film this part. I'll go ahead and put my nose up to the cup. Yeah, I can smell it. It smells like coffee. I have a poor sense of smell for those of you who've never watched any of my coffee review videos before, but sometimes with some of the coffees I've reviewed, I could smell it in the house. So I like that. I want to have that coffee smell. It kind of helps me wake up in the morning. Okay, first few sips. It's smooth. It's not bitter. It's a little bit rich. It's not flavored at all. For those of you who don't like flavored coffee, this is regular coffee. First few sips, I'm going to say it's pretty good. So let me have a few more cups, and I'll be back with my final impressions. All right, I'm on cup number 4. And I have to say that the coffee is definitely waking me up. This is a smooth, rich coffee. This is really good. This is definitely better than the 10% Hawaiian. It's a night and day difference. This is something that I would definitely buy again. Now, I got a 10-ounce bag just to try out, and it might not seem that pricey if you go check it out on the website, but that's 10 ounces. That's not even 3/4 of a pound. They do also offer it in a 1.5-pound bag and a 5-pound bag. You can get it in whole bean and 6 different grinds. So I think next time I order this, I'm going to get a larger bag. It's definitely worth it to me. Now, for some people, it isn't worth it. They just say, hey, look, I want coffee-flavored coffee. I just want coffee to wake me up. I'm not about the experience. I'm not about having, smooth, rich, bold, flavored, anything like that. I just want coffee. My coffee review videos aren't really for you. But if you've ever thought about trying something different, then, after a while, you might develop a palate. And that's exactly what happened to me. My friends talked me into trying out some coffees. I even got some coffees given to me to try out. And over time, I started to develop a palate for it. Now, I'm not the most sophisticated guy. I'm not the most sophisticated coffee reviewer, but I try to share my experience with other people so that they can get an idea about what else is out there. And maybe some people have said, I want to try something different. I want to try something more expensive. I want to try something a little bit more exotic or something like that. There are lots of options out there, but you've got to develop a taste for it. So I'm not here to sell products for Kauai Coffee or any other company. I'm simply just sharing my experience with the audience and having fun while doing this. I really do like doing these coffee reviews. I did let the coffee cool down to lukewarm. It was really easy to do because this is only a 10-ounce coffee mug. That's not a lot of coffee. At least for me, it isn't. On their website, the mug is described as being blue and orange. So that color on the inside that I was having trouble describing, I guess it's orange. It's kind of an off orange. When it got down to lukewarm, it did get a little bit bitter, but it was still smooth. This is just overall some really good coffee. I'm glad that Hawaii Volcano Squad took the time to explain to me the difference between 100% Hawaiian coffee and 10% Hawaiian coffee. Even though I've had both in the past, and I have liked some 10% Hawaiian coffees, I'm really glad that I ordered this and did this test because I definitely want to order some more. So if you've had Kauai Coffee Medium Roast 10% Hawaiian coffee before and you liked it, I think that you would love their 100% Hawaiian Coffee Medium Roast. It's definitely worth it in my opinion. Thanks for watching.